Hi and welcome to Mutant Machines, the challenge show where only the sharpest tools in the box survive. Our teams today are the 4 mutineers and Team Mutinators, and they have to use their creativity and skill to turn 2 everyday objects into something new, a machine that works, that looks the part and is different. It could be a Hoover into a hovercraft. It could be a bike into a barbecue. Today, when that light over there goes green, the boys will use the car, the chainsaw, to make, wait for it, a tyre hoist. Boys, off you go.
So if you give me that sheet tin over, and then you can make the little tracks on it, so you can sign it up down.
Stick it on there and just drop the tyre straight over the top, aren't we?
But is that classed as a hoist or conveyor belt? Because we're not classed as a hoist, isn't it?
As long as we get them over the wall. It's constantly running into me, and we'll stop and keep going back down, just load them on and get them over. The only problem we can have is if you're putting too many tyres on, it might burn the motor out, so we've got to be careful how many we load on it.
Designed to cut wood rather than lift tyres. It's a valid point, so the rest decide to give their chainsaw the once-over. And it appears to be running well, which is more than can be said for the other 2-stroke. An over-enthusiastic yank on the starter has broken the recall spring, and before they've even got going, the Blues have a tricky repair job on their hands.
We've buggered it.
So, while they sort that out, let's meet the 2 teams.
Oh dear.
Hi, my name's Martin. I'm from Burton-on-Trent. I'm a motor vehicle technician and I'm team captain for the 4 mutineers.
Hi, I'm Tony. I work in retail. Martin's my brother, and I'm the youngest one in the family, so don't believe a word he says.
Hi, I'm Alberto. I'm one of 4 mutineers. I work with special needs children, and my friend Martin, who dragged me onto this team.
Hi, my name's Des. I'm in the motor trade, and in my spare time, I'm a banger driver and I'm mad for motors.
OK, guys, who's team leader?
Martin.
Martin, what's the plan?
The plan is to use the chainsaw motor to drive a conveyor belt to put the tyres on up and over the wall.
Sounds simple?
Yes, I hope it will be simple.
Have you done anything like this before?
Never, no.
OK.
So it's all new to me.
OK, off you go.
Hi, I'm Seb. I'm from Swindon. I'm in my first year at Warwick University studying engineering. When I finish my course, I hope to go into engineering.
Hi, I'm Scott from Team Mutinators. I'm in first year at uni at Warwick studying engineering, and I hope this will be a good experience on my way to becoming an engineer.
Hello, my name's Ron. I'm from Team Mutinators. I'm currently studying at Warwick University, and I hope to become a chartered civil engineer.
My name's Admir. I'm an undergraduate student at Warwick University studying general engineering. When I finish my degree, I hope to go into industry and make a change in the world.
But Admir's not quite ready to change the world just yet. The chainsaw's fixed, but now he's struggling to remove a locking wheel nut from the front of the blue team's Astra, and he's getting angry. Quite why this rusty steel rim has a security device is anyone's guess, but it's wasting valuable time and the others still haven't finished planning.
There's a pulley in the middle like that, but are we going to use the car to help with the pulley system as well as... And we need to lift it from ground level as well.
Yeah. So we use the car as like a structure, a frame.
Do you want to...
Next door, the Reds are already ahead. They've fixed a pulley from the car engine onto the drive shaft of the chainsaw and will use the fan belt from the Vauxhall to drive their mutant machine. But there's still a nagging doubt over the power of the chainsaw engine. To cut wood needs speed, to lift tyres requires torque, and it might be too much to ask a tiny 2-stroke to turn a conveyor belt mechanism. Certainly, that's the concern of our resident expert, Professor Martin Smith of the Technology Innovation Centre.
I wouldn't just, because the chainsaw is there, assume we have to use the chainsaw. You've got a few donor parts on the car. So, for example, a starter motor is probably even more powerful than a chainsaw. And it might even be more controllable because you can start it and stop it using a battery and the solenoid in the car. So it might be better, actually, to use the car as donor parts.
The Blues heed the prof's advice and spend 3/4 of an hour removing their starter motor, but then have to discard the idea because it's a sealed unit and, as such, almost impossible to attach a drive shaft to. I've caught you looking a bit stressed at times today, I've got to say. Are you feeling better now?
Yeah, I thought I was doing a couple of things like for no reason, basically.
Have you felt a bit out your depth, though, in this challenge?
Well, yeah. Wanting to be a civil engineer, I don't know much about engines, so I'm relying on them. And then when they told me that sort of starter motor might not be any good, I got a bit mad because I spent sort of 45 minutes taking it out. But it's all right now.
It's all right now at the red end of the workshop. In fact, it's more than all right. The boys have bolted 2 car wheels together and are welding a stub axle to them to feed the power from the chainsaw to a conveyor belt, which will be made from thin strips of galvanised metal stretched over a wooden frame. So what does the professor make of the competing designs, and could he improve on them?
The red team are using 2 strips of wood to make a frame. They're using a roller mechanism at the bottom, and they're going to wrap 3 strips of steel over that roller. They're going to use a chainsaw engine, and they put a pulley on the chainsaw engine to drive a top roller, but they haven't decided yet what they're going to do at the top. So at the top we've got a big question mark at the moment, so that's a wee bit risky.
So the blue team might have an advantage then.
What the blue team have done is, that, again, 2 strips of wood, and they're trying to get 2 pulleys off the car, and they have their plan hinges on being able to get those pulleys off and them being the right size and being able to join them, so it's a little bit more risky doing that, so they're a little bit behind the red team at the moment. They're going to use a chainsaw engine at the bottom, but they haven't decided how they're going to connect that chainsaw engine at the bottom yet.
Another question mark. OK,
Yes.
What's your theory? If you'd have been set this challenge, how would you do it?
Well, what I'd have done, I think, is I'd have used 2 wheels off a car. Here's a cross-section of the wheel, because these are quick and easy to get off the car. I'd have used rope, because that's quicker than making steel strips, a wooden frame again, as before, and I'm not sure whether I'd have used a chainsaw engine, because a starter motor is more easy to control. So I'd have had one of the team members taking a starter motor off the car.
So you would have delegated?
Yes, and have 2 options running.
And you would have thought it through like a proper professor does. Now, they might not be learned gentlemen, but the Reds' design is looking decidedly professional, which is more than can be said for the Blues team effort, and perhaps that's why they're going in for a spot of industrial espionage.
Sorry, lads. I've asked, but... Sure.
In fact, it's not so much spying as thieving. The socket Admir borrowed from the Reds is being welded onto the chainsaw to extend the drive shaft out to a pulley. The prof's lending a hand, and frankly, the Blues need all the help they can get as they begin to argue amongst themselves.
I've got 2 bolts in between, and if I'm going to have a rope going in between them, then you can forget the whole idea.
No.
So we finish this, it's going to be put on a pallet and leaned up on the thing, so we get a rough idea of heights that we need, how much we're going to let it overhang. The hook needs to be sorted out because it's not pulling tyres. I've got a suggestion using duct tape to make it parallel with the rope.
Should work when the rope's taut.
When the rope, it should work.
It will work when the rope's taut if it's taut enough. Which depends on how tight the motor will down.
Let's get on.
But while the wheels appear to be coming off for the blue team, for the Reds it's the exact opposite. They've started fixing the actual belt to their conveyor, and the professor's impressed, although he's still got reservations. This looks like it's going to work a treat, doesn't it?
It does. The only problem is it's slightly high, so the wheels stick up a bit because of the large diameter of the wheels, and they haven't spaced it down. They're very heavy, so there's a lot of mass there to get spinning up. But I think the motor will be powerful enough for that.
And these sheets, sound like it's going to bend okay?
They'll certainly bend okay over these tyres, although it looks as if they're just about to foul this and get in the way there.
Then that's really given the structure a lot of strength, hasn't it?
It has, but there's a slight evidence, a bit of lack of planning there, but they'll be all right. But the problem will be getting these to bend around the smaller roller at the bottom. it'll take quite a lot of energy bending these three and spinning up these tyres.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a strain on the drive system.
They haven't got too long left, about 2 hours. I think I better tell them.
Right.
Boys, you've got about 2 hours left, all right? So get busy. Both teams have now got their work cut out. The Reds have got to pop rivet all the joints on their conveyor belt before they can test whether the engine has enough oomph. We've had an emotional first half with plenty of smoke, sweat and tears, and we haven't yet seen a completed Mutant machine, but we still have a few hours to go. Can the teams do it? Well, we'll find out in a mo after this break. Welcome back to Mutant Machines, the show that turns the ordinary and the everyday into something a little different. Now, a few hours ago, both teams were given a car and a chainsaw. The challenge was to create a tyre hoist. Now, who's hit the rocks and who's still on the starting blocks? It's the Blues who are on the rocks, although things are looking up. The ramp that they hope will propel their tyres heavenwards is lifted into place not a moment too soon.
It's up. I'm resting on there. You've got to see how high it needs to go.
That's it. No, too far. This way, There we go.
That done, it's a matter of attaching the motor. Remember, the Blues are using a rope to hoist their tyres. Prof, you're looking a bit puzzled.
Well, they've got a very tiny, rather feeble-looking roller at the top, compared with the red team's giant tyres, which are really robust. That's a little bit of worry. They'll have less trouble with inertia and speeding up the motor, but it might not quite be strong enough. And then we're a little bit behind at this end with connecting up the drive system. Yeah. And my other worry is that when they feed the cable, when they feed the rope over this pulley, that they've got to have a hook on to bring the tyre up, and there's a risk that the hook is going to get caught in this, or caught in any one of these cross braces, or in the pulley at the top.
It's going to work.
The Blues solution is to make more of a cradle than a hook, which rather than going round in a complete loop, will pull a tyre to the top of the ramp before being returned to the bottom in an up and down motion. The Reds Mutant is far more elegant by comparison, right down to cleverly constructed tensioning devices that allows the metal belts to be tightened or loosened. So it's the result of a foregone conclusion. Will experience out or youthful enthusiasm endure? I tell you what, who do you think's going to win at this stage?
It's very difficult. At the moment, the blue team are behind, the red team are ahead, but I'm expecting the blue team to speed up and just maybe beat the red team at the post. That's quite possible.
The blue team are much younger, and that's beginning to show now, isn't it? They're all aged 18, they're in their first year at college, and I think that's why they've done so much paperwork, because they're used to lots of theory and not much practical.
That's right. On paper, the more experienced team are likely to have the edge.
The edge that is, unless the Blues' last-minute secret weapon works. OK, I think this is what they need. I'm sure this will do the trick. There's only 10 minutes to go and it's really starting to get heated. There you go.
Thank you very much.
What's that?
They're hoping that by smearing the ramp with hand cleaner, that'll make it slippery enough for the tyres to slide up more easily, and so to reduce the strain on the engine.
Who knows?
Oh, it's like play school. But there's nothing playful about the Reds' predicament. Their worst fears have been realised. The chainsaw engine just isn't powerful enough to turn the belts now that they've been tensioned, so the prof's prophecy has come true. The engine starts intermittently, but there's too much drag, and as soon as the centrifugal clutch engages, it stalls. Des and the boys are gutted. It's too late for them to think about using an alternative power source such as the car, so they've no alternative but to try some last-minute alterations. And the surgery is radical. In a last-ditch attempt to make it to the start line, they weld the clutch directly to the drive shaft to stop it slipping and reduce the tension by removing all but one of the drive belts. In the dying seconds, they even cut away 2 of the tyres to try and reduce the weight and drag. But with the traffic light about to change to red, it's touch and go whether they'll make it in time. Listen up, it's almost time to down tools when this green light goes red. And that will happen in 3, 2, 1. Okay guys, that's it. Your work time is now over. You've got to clear the decks and then your challenge begins. We're going to give you 3 minutes, okay? And in that time, you've got to convey, flick, transfer, whatever you want to call it, as many tyres as possible on your Mutant machine into your opponent's work area. Have you got that? Okay. It's crunch time, and first up are the 4 mutineers. Guys, you've got 3 minutes. You know exactly what you're going to do, and that 3 minutes starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Off you go. Now, we're going to have to make a decision here because I don't know if what you guys were doing, like a lot of it was by hand, is actually in the rule book or not, okay? So I'm going to pass that one over to the judges. In the meantime, it's over to the blue team. Professor, this is a really tough decision. I mean, we're going to have to watch back on the monitor here and see if any of those tyres moved an inch.
That's right.
By the machines. Okay, what can we say? This is a blue team.
Yes.
Ah, you see, that looked to me like it moved forward an inch.
It did, I think. I think on the basis that it moved forward under the power of the machine, just even though it was a very, very tiny amount, that probably is the clincher, because for the red team, it was always being manually helped.
Mm.
There was one guy pushing the belt up and one guy pulling the belt down, so it was all the time running manually. Whereas just, although it was only a half an inch maybe, it actually moved for the blue team up the ramp.
It did, yeah, and I think what's swinging it for me also is that the blue team did get that tyre over unaided.
Absolutely.
No human hands pushed it over.
Even though they were getting the tyre moving up using the pull cord on the motor, at least the tyre did go over the top. Whereas, as you say, with the red team, the tyres were all given a bit of a shove to get them over.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes. But they just didn't take into account, I think, the massive inertia of those tyres, the massive amount of friction they had, just overcame that, the power of the motor.
The laws of physics, eh?
I'm afraid so. You can't beat the laws of physics under any circumstances.
Okay, guys, this has been a very tough decision because, as you know, the day's been full of ups and downs. You guys produced an awesome-looking machine here, without a doubt. Looks the part. You know, you've had a few problems. These guys over here had a slow start. Appeared as though they didn't really know what they were doing at the beginning of the day. And then it kind of came together, then it went, then it came together. So you've both done an absolutely fantastic job. When it came to crunch time, the tyre challenge, the boys popped some tyres over the wall. You guys popped a tyre over the wall. But as you know, you use your hands, you guys didn't. But your machine was a good one. So what do? Well, we've made a decision, and the winners of today's competition are it's the blue team. Guys, come on, you can spray your champers.
Cheers, thanks. Excellent.
You all did an amazing job. You've enjoyed yourselves?
Excellent. Yes.
Excellent. Well, that's what it's all about. And don't forget to join us next time for plenty more mutated machines. See you then.
My name's Admir. I'm a first-year student at Warrington Mute. What? This is harder than I thought.
Martin, one of my best mates.
Hi, my name's Des. I'm the, Go on, turn me out the window. Hold on, listen to me. Just say, shh. This is my big shit. Hi, my name's Des. I'm in the motor trade, and in my spare time, I'm a banger driver, and I'm mad for motors.